You are listening to Win on KZKO. Check them out every Monday from 4 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Only on KZKO The Vibe.
Covering all conversation, from dating to getting revenge on your exes. This is Talking Points with Shabazz Davis on World Improv Network.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to Talking Points with Shabazz Davis. My name is Jerome Carmichael, filling in for Shabazz this week, who's busy decking platypi. Good luck with that, Shabazz. Now, we all have to deal with things that are unpleasant, things that are bad, maybe even things that sometimes we just don't want to do. Now, lately there's been a lot of talk about what is the worst. What is the bottom of the barrel? And to address that question, we have a very special guest here today on Talking Points. We have Mr. Peter Twice. Peter, welcome to Talking Points.
Hello.
And it's I guess a pleasure to have you here. You are an expert in all things awful and unpleasant.
That's right. I studied at Duke University of psychology as well as anthropology, and I now profess at Duke. And yes, my focus is on offending the senses.
Mm-hmm. Now, all senses?
Yes. And I just want to be clear right off the front. There are more than 5.
Oh,
there are like 40.
Okay. Could we just get maybe a sample of which of those 40 senses really? I mean, we all know the main 5, but what are the others that really cause people problems, make things unpleasant?
There's the vibration sense, which is very. It's connected to the sense of touch.
Mm-hmm.
There's the anger sense. That's the sense that detects anger.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a facial hair sense, which allows a person to tell whether there's a facial hair in the area or a potential for facial hair. We actually studied one gentleman from Raleigh, North Carolina, who had a particularly adept sense, and I would share his name, but it's against the scientific community.
Scientific doctor subject confidentiality agreements.
That's right. There's a code of ethics.
Yeah, worked out in Geneva in the early 60s, if I recall correctly.
For a little while.
Now, so, Master of the Unpleasant, that's not an official title, but how I've always thought about you. I followed your work for many years, actually.
Oh, cool.
Now, these days, we have a lot of backlash, a lot of people dealing with Siri, and really feeling that displeasure, that discomfort.
Yeah.
And if I can play amateur, unpleasant, master of the acolyte of the unpleasant, if you will.
Sure.
I can see with Siri there would be a lot of vibration from the sound coming out of the bottom of the iPhone.
Sure.
The proximity to the face, upsetting the facial hair senses, and also Siri sounds very stern. So, there's twigging that anger sense there.
And in addition to the anger sense, the condescension sense. We've put test subjects in a CAT scan machine while they're listening to a recording of Siri responding to questions that people frequently ask, and the condescension sense goes off the charts. There's a small part of the brain located between the limbic system and the amygdala, and we call this juncture the C532. And this particular point is very active, and it sends signals to other parts of the brain that say, hey, we're being treated inferior. and so people get very defensive. And that only because Siri is a robot, the Siri doesn't change her intonation or emote, so the consistency.
1 sec.
And
here's what I found on the web for worse the DMV or yourself.
And she interrupts quite frequently, and that's not her fault. That's Apple. That's just bad wiring.
I guess
yes,
kind of spoiled who our next guest was going to be, but I guess right before we bring Siri out, Mr. Twice, how do you measure unpleasantness? Is there a scale or a?
Well, we look at the heart. We look at blood pressure. Certain diagnostics we also use are measuring dilation of the pupils in a flight or fright response. The pupils become dilated.
Here's what I found on the web for Siri. Can you tell me if my blood
gosh,
pressure?
right? I mean, you can understand why so many.
All right.
I mean, I'm feeling it too, and I study this stuff. That's the hard part. Is
hey, producer Paul, maybe you can put a lid on Siri here for a minute. We're doing an interview. Thank you. Yeah. So, so you have all these measurements that you roll together into what's the Genghis factor, which is kind of a measurement of bubbling rage. With the heart and the pupils and.
Right, and that was first coined by Professor Genghis.
Yes.
I think a long time ago.
I found this on the web for contact.
Jeez Louise.
Okay, if you don't shut her up, producer Paul, someone is going to find an unpleasant gift basket in their green room.
All right. Man.
Okay.
So now, being very knowledgeable of unpleasantness, I am also somewhat familiar with the other side, because you have to be. You gotta know, in order to know light, you gotta know dark. In order to know a fence, you gotta know, placiditude.
I have to be honest, I'm amazed at how calm you're remaining through all of this.
Will
you shut her up? Will you please?
Constantly interrupting.
I am in the middle of an interview.
Have a consistent conversation, it's like you can't have a pause in there, because she's just gonna willy-nilly introduce herself into the, it's like that. It's like having a drunk college student just crash your place while you're trying to have a good conversation.
They'll
with
just talk down to you and make you feel like you're a little person who doesn't have an opinion.
And you do. Hey.
Who? Me?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you.
Okay.
Yeah, you little hussy.
Hey, will you come over? Why, you little...
Hey, no, so stop it. Hold it. Just let it be.
Okay. I want to apologize to the audience out there. I know.
Prostitute.
There's
the web for it.
Okay. Mr. Twice, I really need some help right here.
Let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And that song, actually, we have connected to a sense. There's actually a Beatles
I can't answer that.
Oh my God!
Will you? Okay, America, thank you very much. I have business to take care of. You have a good night. Siri, you come over here. We are going to have a little talk, and I am going to...
Give the Windcast your suggestions via Facebook, Twitter, or the KZKO Wind blog during the commercial break of what issues the Wind counselors can help you with during Good, Bad, Ugly. Next on KZKO.
You are listening to Win on KZKO. Check them out every Monday from 4 to 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Only on KZKO The Vibe.